Hey, hello everybody! Super good morning everybody. 7:30 in the morning again, and this is Kevin Chan here bringing you live. I thought today is a bit more early in terms of the forecast, right? So since it's already published on the written form, right? So I might as well, just take today and do the forecast for the Qimen, right? So today we want to do a bit on Qimen forecast. Yes, it's for the month of September. Blink of an eye. We are going to move into the month of September already, which is the rooster month, right? So good morning to everybody first. I got Manuel Tan here, just Qimen, and then Pekpo, Jocelyn, Rag, PJ, Rag, and then 1-3 forecast. Why not in FB? Because FB hate me lah. Because FB always give me problem. And number 2 is that FB will delete the video, by the way. Right, so yeah, Facebook won't be keeping any of the video inside their page already, right? Yeah, they'll probably run out of space, hosting video is not what they want to do, whatever it is, right? So may as well, just do everything on FB, right? So it's easier, right? So hello Sabrina, hello Eclipse, how you are doing, right? So now really quick, we are going into the month of September, which is the rooster month. So almost the final leagues of the year already, right? So the third quarter, right? So going to the third quarter, and we're gonna take a look at from the Qimen perspective, how we can fully utilize the Qimen energy to change a little bit in terms of how your mind work, right? How your mind is working in terms of this energy signature, right? So come, let me just shrink myself down to the smaller version, right? So and we can take a look at this, right? So like usual, getting in touch with me, Telegram, best channel to do so. You can PM me on Telegram, very easy. You can join the channel if you want to download stuff. Then there is the monthly newsletter, right? So which the written version of this forecast has already been published, right? So for those of you who are in the what we call mailing lists, all right? So it's all inside there, right? So, and of course, there is a community of Chinese metaphysics enthusiasts, right? So we are inside this Kevin Chan's giving community here, right? So you can come and join, right? So yeah, right now we are currently launching the forecast for the 2026. Yes. So 2026 and FSA is hosted by Catherine. So for those of you who want to buy tickets and come and join us, right? So please go to the community channel and look for the sign up link, right? So come month of September, right? So before that, if you are very new, right? So you can go into Typing Astro. Typing Astro is the company that we are currently using, to draw charts, right? So yeah, Typing Astro will also be joining us for our 2026 forecast and showcase you some of the user case for the software and how to use the software. They will have a session to talk about that. So for those of you who are signed up with it, then it's easier for you to use the software. So this one that you're looking at is basically what we call destiny plot, right? So destiny plot is to use Qimen method to plot your birth date, right? So instead of using the 八字 method to plot your birth date, which is a different method, you use the Qimen method to do the plotting, right? So pretty easy. Once you plot it, what you want to take a look at is something called the Destiny Palace. In the 八字 it's called the Day Master, by the way, right? So this one is basically called the Destiny Palace. So it's marked in red color, right? So you can see, right? So whatever stars that goes into this particular palace will generally affect you in terms of your mental capacity, your intention, your general way of thinking. So the key here is that if you want to change the way that you're thinking, so to basically go towards a direction that is required, so if you know what action that you want to take, then you should know what sort of mental state that you should be in, then you can utilize that particular sector, right? So if this is the sector that is, then you should pay attention when we talk about this particular sector, right? So then it's easier for you to find out. So everybody would have one of these 8 sectors as their Destiny Palace, right? So you can go and use this software to find out about your Destiny Palace, right? So it's under the Destiny Plot section, right? So pretty simple. Or second method to use this, is to use it like Feng Shui, but it's a bit different. There are no activation here, right? So for this, what happens is that you go to the sector and sit down and usually reprogram your mind, right? So a lot of time we use the method which we call manifestation. Now manifestation is really nothing more than writing plan, writing goal. It's the same thing, right? So don't get the thing too complicated. All right, so a lot of people overcomplicate stuff because of the terminology chosen to be used, right? So nothing more. Manifestation is just a word chosen to be used. It's basically sitting down, reprogramming your mind. It's having a conversation with your own self. Okay, come, right? So let's move into take a look, right? So this is the chart for the month of September. So every month the chart change, right? So as for those of you who have been following my lesson, right? So the video, right, so about Qimen essential. So you know that there are 4 components. So all these 4 components will move simultaneously every month. So unlike if you are familiar with the Xuan Kong Flying Star is only one number moving, right? So Xuan Kong Flying Star is one number moving, right? So whereas for the Qimen is 4 separate components moving. So the deity component will move on its deity's path, which is different from the stem component, which is different from the star component, which is different from the door component. So all these components will move on a separate path, and it will come together, right? So that's why there is a total of 1080 possible combination in a Qimen chart, right? So quite a vast variety of differences. So every month you get a different chart, right? So much like the Shen Sha, right? So much like the Shen Sha. So Shen Sha, we move it every year. Every year we will redistribute the Shen Sha. So this one will be moving, right? So they got the yearly movement, right? So in the FSA 2026 we will talk about the yearly movement, right? So and this one is the monthly movement, right? So then of course is to understand, for our session is basically to understand what are the potential of each of this combination, and then you have to go and match it with your action for the month, action for the month. So I'm assuming that you have already done your planning, you at least that this particular month what are the things that's supposed to be executing. And with the help of the Qimen energy, it can align your mental state so that you're going through the correct mental state. So whether you're in a stable or unstable state, it doesn't matter, right? So take a look at it. Hello Stuart, hello Winnie, right? So welcome joining today, right? So come, let's take a look at it, right? So we are looking at it at the rooster, right? So rooster belong to the west, right? So for those of you who doesn't know, then we will start off with looking at the west sector. Right, so we take a look at the west sector itself. Oops, go back out first, right? So now west sector, so if you take a look at the component, so the deity component is harmony. So a lot of time when we take a look at harmony, the mind, right, unfortunately of the mass programming that has been done in this particular subject, when you take a look at harmony, straight away everybody will zoom into, oh, love, he's going to be my love matter. No, harmony is not representing love. Love is a small little portion that harmony actually governs. Harmony governs everything that has to do together with connecting with people. That's it, right? So it never say connecting with people have to equivalent to falling in love. Right, so it has a lot to do with anything that do have to be collaborative effort, working together, partnership, anything that have to be drawing more things into the pool, right? So it's basically under the harmony purview. So if you're taking a look at it, so that the general theme for a person whereby the destiny palace is in this particular place, it has to be sorting out the relationship related matter. Now, so what relationship you want to sort out, you settle on your own. If you die must say that it's going to be my love relationship, when there's nothing wrong or there's nothing to do with your love relationship, then that is up to you, right? So some people like to touch on things that is not relevant, right? So the thing is completely not relevant to whatever that you're doing, you like to go and touch on it, and that's up to you, right? So not to stop you from doing that. So of course, when the harmony is together with destruction, mean that there is multiple things breaking down. Harmony represent multiple, destruction represent changes that usually is geared towards breaking things down. So again, breaking things down is not bad. If you try to build a building and there is a boulder in front of you, you need to break the boulder. Right, so if there's an old building, like for example, right now Malaysia is in a big debate over the law that allow redevelopment. old building, right? So old building, the building very old, very dated already. You know, if you need to redevelop, the current law said that, you know, you need 100% agreement for redevelopment. But a lot of time, right, the building, the owner is who, where to find the owner also cannot find. So it's impossible for you to get 100%, right? So what the government trying to do is to reduce to 80%. Right, so if they reduce it to 80%, which means that if you can get 80% of the people in the building to sign off, then, you know, then they can evict and destroy the building. Right? So that's basically what destruction is. Nothing wrong with it. Right. So of course, you know, if you are in a statewide right now, that, you know, it is in a what we call the situation whereby the destruction is happening right now. You know, like for example, if there is a breakage in your business partnership, right? So a breakage in your business partnership, so it actually tells you that the breakage will actually get worsened. At first, it could be one reason for it to break. Then, you know, it goes into 2 reasons, 3 reasons, 4 reasons, 5 reasons, right? It will multiply the reason, right? So now here's the thing. If you take a look at it, is it good or is it bad? Then we can take a look at the hexagram. So the hexagram is a relief hexagram. Relief hexagram means that, you know, this particular thing happened is so that you can break off from the you want to say that the stalemate that is basically happening, right? So I give you an example, right? So like in the written example, it is like missing a train, missing a plane, missing a bus, whatever it is. Then later found out that the train, the bus has actually derailed or, you know, rammed into something. It actually saved your life. Certain things are meant to break off, right? Because the action, if you take a look, is a restore action. Restore action means that, you know, don't do anything. So don't do anything means that, you know, it is meant for you to let it happen. And the stem formation, which is the small snake turned dragon, usually is a good thing, which means that, you know, you are able to surpass the problem, right? So this breakage is designed for you to surpass the problem. So which means that, you know, you're not moving forward right now. Everything is basically stuck right now. Probably your biggest problem is the relationship that you are having, right? So some relationship need to be dropped lah. It's pretty simple for you. So if you're already planning to drop a relationship, then this palace is a great palace for you to initiate the entire process of dropping the relationship. Right? So, you know, like for example, you know, oh, you know, you think that this particular guy is not good for you, you know, you try to dump the guy, then, you know, you probably would like to use this particular palace as the catalyst to drop the guy. Right, pretty simple, right? So, you know, not too difficult to use, right? Then, you know, you say that, oh no, but no, I don't want to, you know, then you don't disturb this palace at the same. What if this is the destiny palace? Then your mind is always thinking about a lot of problem. You are adding into the problem. Then please stop it lah. It's your own mind lah. Right, you stop the entire thing, right? So, you know, it's aka called, you know, if all the sign is telling you should be breaking off and you still insist that you want to be in the relationship, then you turn a blind eye on it, right? You turn a blind eye on all the signs, right? Then you keep on maintaining the relationship, right? But later, you know, when things become critical mass and really exploded, don't complain. That's all on you, right? So the energy is just there to perform a catalyst and give you the signal. If all the signal is aligning together, right? So as in, with all the effort that we put in to retain the relationship, if it's not working, then, you know, too bad lah, right? So hello Suchai, good morning to you as well, right? So this is for the west side, right? So we will go the other way around, anti-clockwise, so we can go to the southwest, right? So southwest, you can see that they got an ambassador there, open door, right? So now ambassador, open door, a lot of time the what we call the interpretation is opportunity coming to you, because the open door, we always talk about opportunity, right? Opportunity coming to your side, right? So which a lot of time is a very exciting thing, right? So but then there's a tiger, right? So now understand first, open door, the function of a door is to prevent things from coming in. Right, now the door is never there to prevent things from going out, right? So which means that if the door is open right now, whatever from outside has a free reign to come in. So, you know, it's a tiger out there, Right, so tiger generally means strenuous activity. So when tiger is together with ambassador, you are stretching your money a bit. You're putting your money in stress. So the opportunity that come in is basically gonna stretch your money, right? So which means that if there's anything happen, you probably would not have enough reserve to rescue yourself, right? Although there's opportunity, right? So this is like spreading everything too thin, you know, spreading your money too thin. As in, you know, you may not have sufficient cash flow to rescue yourself, right? So then this one is a mathematical question, right? So if you do not know how to look at your account, you do not know how to look at your bank balance, then you deserve to fail, right? So there's no thing, right? So if you know how to look at this, then this shouldn't be too big of a problem. So the signal is don't strain your money, right? So if you take a look at it, right? So it's a big livestock. Big livestock means that the gain is pretty good, right? So big livestock is a good hexagram, but then it changed to poison, right? So which means that this particular investment would slowly cause problem to you. Right, so which means that do you have the in business is basically what is your run rate, right? Are you able to survive the entire process? So if you take a look at the situation, right? So this is a lot of time like people try to chase treasure. So you have seen those Indiana Jones show, right? So they want to chase a certain treasure, they go through one danger after another, right? So it's exciting, right? So but if there's one wrong step, then bye-bye lor. Right, so question, are you able to recover from a catastrophic loss? Yeah, a lot of investment like yesterday, I don't know yesterday or the day before, right? An entire investment house was arrested for conducting scam, right? So for conducting scam, but then the staff they said that, oh, we don't know that the company is actually conducting scam. Huh? Right. It's weird. You're working for a company, you don't know what the company do. Okay, right. So you can get into those type of situation, right? So you need to be very careful with any investment decision, right? So now we talk about investment decision again, right? When we use the term investment, everybody is like their mind just go into stock market. Must be stock market. Investment basically means anything that you put money on. It could be let's say a lot of time this one happen in the F&B industry. You have one shop which is doing very well, so which is doing very well. Then you think of oh, I want to make more money. I open another branch. Right, so you need to understand you open another branch, right? The branch is not inside this particular location that you are in. The customer won't go to the other branch one. Excess customer, right? So a lot of time F&B is that when they see excess customer, they think of oh no, open another branch. Right, so you open another branch, there is another set of costing that is required. So can your branch actually sustain the additional set of costing or not? A lot of people never do this sort of calculation. They think that, oh, business very good, then I open another branch, everybody will go that branch as well. That's not the case. Your expenses confirm is gonna double. You open another branch, there's a doubling the expenses. Your profit may not be able to cover. You are not a hypermarket. Right, so if your hypermarket is different. Now, hypermarket, their model is once I open a hypermarket in this particular place, for the next 5 years, I'm okay with not making money. Their objective for the next 5 years is basically to dominate the area by selling things cheaper than whatever shop is around. That's what they do. So once they murder all the shop around, you got no choice but to come to them. Right, so that's what hypermarket is playing, but you cannot play this sort of game. Right, so so this one, if you take a look, the opportunity that presents itself, you need to be careful of your own personal financial strain. Right, so make sure that you don't get into a situation whereby your money is all tied up in illiquid asset. A lot of people also have this problem. Right, so this one is even included. You take in investment money from other people. Right, you take on investment money from other people, you buy equipment, then next thing that the fellow want to pull the funding out, where you're going to get the money to give back to the other person. Okay, you buy equipment already, the equipment you cannot half away, sell 3 screw to pay back the other fellow. It wouldn't work one. Right, so but of course, if you're looking for opportunity, this is good. right? So what this doesn't cover is that it doesn't cover your ability to assess the opportunity. Qimen don't help you assess opportunity. A lot of people, oh, now I find opportunity, but is this opportunity good? Is this opportunity guaranteed? Is this, I don't do anything also. Qimen don't do this sort of stuff. You want opportunity, this is the palace that you can use to basically, get opportunity. So if you hear, right, so then the reprogramming is to ask yourself to open your eyes, to look at opportunity, to look at things that basically come to you. Again, the assessment of the opportunity, you need to go and learn how to do the assessment. Qimen don't help you to do the assessment. Okay, right? So anyhow, you want opportunity, this is good. This including looking for job, high pay, but very stressed. What do you expect? People pay you a lot of money for what? Relaxing, sip coffee on the coffee machine. No, right? So if you want a job, good pay, this is what you're gonna do, but it's gonna be a high stress job. Right, so over time, probably you will be putting your life on the line just for the money. Up to you. So again, up to you if you feel like, money is more important than my health right now. If you're young, go ahead, right? Nothing wrong with it. Right? So spend, maybe next 3 years just damaging your body, get a lot of money, then hopefully you don't pay to the doctor, then exit the business. That's all. It's pretty simple, right? So I've spoken to enough corporate people that quit corporate job because of the stress. They are quite well paid, because of the stress, because of the politics. After some time, already they say, okay, enough is enough already. They just resign and go out and do something else. Right? Nothing wrong with it, right? So if you're looking for opportunity, this is the palace for you to go for, right? So just be careful that the opportunity that come may be something that you cannot follow. Okay, so you need to know your own personal capacity first before you say yes to any opportunity, right? So South, all black. Does that mean it's bad, right? So no, a lot of time, all black doesn't mean it's bad. So the tortoise and fear combination is particularly nasty. Right? So now tortoise is a lot of things is what we call fake or untrue. Right, mirages, right? So fear, of course, as the name suggests, you're in a very guarded position. Right, so and then you together with grass, this is like in the middle of the sea, cannot see anything. Then as the example is, it's like suddenly you see a fin. For those of you who have watched Jaws, the old classic on shark, you will remember the scene, to see the fin. So right now when we talk about the fin, it's not one fin. It have to be multiple fin. As in, dinosaur underwater. And so right now we love dinosaur more, but is it true or is it untrue? Because fear and also tortoise is a lot of time is very psychological, right? So it's very psychological. And if you take a look at the stem formation is very good. The Ting and Ping formation. The Ting and Ping formation happen to be a formation that give you superiority in terms of information gathering. Right? So if you're talking about information gathering, deployment of troop, right? So this is a very good thing. So which means that this is a situation that you can handle. It's just that you need to stay calm, right? So as how the hexagram would have suggested, it's a regulate hexagram. So regulate hexagram basically tell you the things to stay in control, right? So and then you change into the arriving. So the arriving basically means that you would eventually know the real situation. So why are you subjecting yourself to all the fear and concern and everything right now? Too many people spend too much time fearing something that is yet to happen. Right? So a lot of time the example I tell a lot of people, so again, I know sad example, extreme example, but easy to understand is during our parent time, right? There's no such thing as cancer one. It's not that there's no such thing as cancer. Cancer exists, right? So, but no one talks about it. No one go and, especially no one go and checks about it, right? So if your parent, on the olden day, if they have cancer, right, they just live, suddenly die. That's it, finish. They have zero worried one, right? But right now, very young, 20 years old, 30 years old, you go for all those checking, and then the excuse me. Right? And then the doctor come over and tell you, there is a 3% chance that you will get this particular rare cancer. Okay, which means 97% you'll be fine. And then you live your next 30 years in fear. A lot of people right now live their entire life in fear. In fear of what? In fear of nothing. In fear of actually nothing, right? So that's why in this particular formation, if this is your destiny palace, if this is particularly your destiny palace, then for whatever thing that you think is causing problem right now, ask yourself first, is it true or not? Right, so there is a very good experiment that actually being done is to write down your fear. Right, write down your fear, and at the end of the year, right? So at the end of the year, right? So take out the same book that you write down your fear and ask yourself how many of them actually come true. They have actually already done this particular experiment. Usually less than 10% can ever come true. So which means that you spend a lot of time, like 90% of your time, fearing about things that not working. Right. So of course, if you want to subject somebody to fear, you can move the fellow to the south sector. In your office, right? In your office, you want to encourage delusional thought in the office. Before you eventually, you want to cause trouble to a certain department, move them to the south. Release certain, uncollaborated news. All right. So they'll get very agitated, or they will get very annoyed with the situation, right? So yeah, it's a psychological sector, right? So if you want to use this particular sector, that can be used. If you are subjected to this sector, then you need to be very careful with whatever that you are feeding into your mind. It tends to get magnified by the mind, but in the end you will see the truth, right? So which is not as scary as you might think it is. All right, so you can use that. So southeast, you got the earth and also the heart, right? So the other day we just learned about the sin metal, right? So the other day we learned about the sin metal, right? So it is a lot of time about self-generated problem, right? So when the G is together with sin, is that it's the situation of you like discovering, you want to call treasure. Discovering treasure. So G is a layer of sand, layer of sand or layer of dirt with sin inside, right? So it's like discovering treasure, right? So now what do you discover? No, of course, sin is something that's not really that good, right? So it's like you have discovered something inside that is not good. That death door means that it required to be ended, right? So the heart together with death door is usually a situation whereby you need to make a very difficult decision. A super difficult decision, right? So you can see that the hexagram, right? So it's a stagnation hexagram. Stagnation hexagram means that you probably are in a stage whereby you can't really move forward or cannot really move backward, or you are unwilling to move. Gathering means that the pressure is basically mounting right now, right? The pressure is basically mounting right now, as in there may be more and more evidence, right? So there'll be more and more evidence pointing towards the need to make a decision, right? So a lot of time, a lot of people, the way that they try to fix a problem is to close their eye and hope that the problem will go away on its own, instead of what we call taking agency or taking responsibility of the system, right? So anything happen, it's like blame outside, blame outside, blame outside, blame outside. It's like somebody else should fix the problem. It's not them. You have this sort of things happening. So now you have find out that what is the problem. You have to make a decision. Okay, you have to basically make a decision to either cut or now again it depends on the entire circumstance, right? So if let's say that this is not your father's company. You find out that your particular colleague is basically doing something that is not really that good. Is it your matter to bring it up? Ask yourself first, right? So is it your matter to basically bring it up? What if the person that you bring up happen to be the boss son? Got any point or not? Right, so you need to do this sort of assessment when you take a look at it, right? So of course, if you are somebody who is determined and that the organization or whatever that you're running is actually having a problem and you are ready to confront the problem, right? So now when we talk about confronting the problem again, it is not, for you to take any drastic action against it. It's basically you are ready to accept the situation, right? So just gentle, a bit more gentle example is that, probably you are suspecting. So again, nothing wrong with it. It is just a generalized example. A lot of time, this example is used inside movie whereby, you're found out that, your son or your daughter, happen to be what we call gay. So how? Sometimes parents very difficult to accept this particular fact that their children is gay, right? So in this particular formation, then you can expose or actually surface this small little issue, right? So now once the issue is surfaced already, then you can face the issue. Now it's whether you want to accept it as facing or you want to go ballistic. That one's up to you, right? So that's basically up to you. So which means that you want to make a big, I call, management decision to settle the issue, then this would be the palace to do so. But if you are not ready, if you are the type of person who feel like ignorance is actually a bliss, sometimes it is, right? So then don't touch this palace. Pretty easy only, right? So don't basically touch this particular palace. But if you're, again, if your entire concept is to find the traitor, right? Again, finding the traitor is one thing, then knowing who's the traitor versus you can actually do something about it is different. Because we have too many cases in Malaysia already, even with proof of saying that this person has actually did wrong, the justice system cannot do anything to this particular person, right? Because the father is very powerful, right? So like very recently, we have this ex-prime minister's son was caught having drugs inside the car, right? So it's a very dry cut case, but then nothing has been done. Okay, come, let's take a look at the east sector, right? So the east sector have a heaven and also scenery, right? So a green dragon enter prison. Right, so now why so again, naming convention, now the earth is always named as a green dragon together with Jia, because why? Jiazi, which is the head of the Jia, right? So Jia got 6 of them. The head of it is called Jiazi. Jiazi is always concealed in earth. So yeah, if you study, the Qimen, right? So Jiazi always hide in earth. So earth is always assumed as the Jia, right? So what happens when the Jia is tied together with the Ren water, right? So the Jia tied together with Ren water means that the Wu is trying to counter the Ren water, then the Wu is not free, right? So that's why the Wu enter the prison, right? So then it's difficult for the Jia to basically do anything, right? So you got pillar a lot of time in misinformation, or it's a very noisy situation, right? So a lot of time is talk only, no use, right? So together with scenery door again is a very show door. It's a very showy type of door, right? So with pillar together with scenery means a lot of time the way that you are doing things, right? So the way that you're doing things basically is not working, right? So what you say and what you see is two different things, right? So you see that it's a reform. Now reform, a lot of time we see a reform has means that things need to be changed. Once the way that you approach the thing that you're doing is being changed, then it works. Right, so now the other day only, just have this particular intellectual debate with people. It's like they're saying that the act of removing exam, we remove a lot of exam from our school. Right, so last time we got this thing called UPSR, which is the standard 6 exam. Then we got this PMR, right? So my time is called PMR. I don't know whether they change it. That's Form 3 exam. So both of these exam has been removed already. So they attribute that the student right now is very weak is because they removed the exam. It is not the exam that causes the student to be strong or weak. It's the way that you are teaching them. Right, so so it's like telling people that if I change the swimming pool, suddenly you will be able to swim. No, the problem is you are not swimming. It's not the pool's fault, right? So don't attribute the fool's fault. So it's same thing now, no? Like adult learning, a lot of time, adult learning, is there actual an exam? Right, so I see the youngster, this same group of kids that they say that, oh, that's not learning, right? They can handle Minecraft, they can handle Roblox, they can build an entire world out of Minecraft. I don't see any exam. Why they can do all this sort of stuff, right? So it's the way that things are being done, right? So with the scenery door, is actually telling you, instead of talking, pillar is basically talking, show, right? Talking is basically show, and heaven also is a highly visual indicator, right? So it's a deity that's highly visual, right? So which means that this particular situation is a show situation, is not a tell situation. If your method is telling, which a lot of time, unfortunately, that's how communication is being done, right? So you just tell people, right? So instead of showing people how to do, as in, you're not a good example, right? Then got problem. All right, so if you are ready to go and show people, you want to people to see things, right? So this is the way to do it, right? So, and this particular palace also is particularly very good when you know that the situation is as such. So your company has a situation, that you guys has been discussing for the donkey's longest time. Talk, no action. You can use this particular energy from this palace to go and implement action. So when you implement action, people will see, right? Instead of just hearsay, whatever. So a lot of time is like that, right? So too many people have suggestion, nobody have action, right? So this is basically what the palace is talking about. So if you are ready to put in action and you want people to see your action, this is the palace to do, right? So just take action, palace, yeah, right? So now it's a great palace to basically do that, right? So can you see, if you change your method, reform, it will become accomplished, right? So things will happen, right? So for action taker on here, for talker, you don't use this particular palace, you use this particular, you'll get into big trouble, because what people will see you as somebody who has no action. Okay, right? So this is a very, very visual palace, right? So Northeast. Let's take a look at Northeast, right? So Northeast got the delusion door together with Chief. Delusion door together with Chief usually is blur case Chief. Right? So now again, the general standard in Qimen, when you see the Chief, is everything is good. Right? Everything is good, everything is right, everything is basically, great, right? So not exactly one, right? So you need to know what is Chief paired together with, right? So because all the circumstances basically damn, right? So you see what Chief is basically paired together with. Can explain further? Is Jia trap there? Why suddenly Jia trap there? Gigi, I don't understand what you don't understand. What do you mean by Wu go to Ren? Wu did not go to Ren. Is Wu together with Ren as a heaven and earth stem formation, right? So Gigi, you want to know heaven and earth stem formation? Just go Google. And all the stem formation is basically out there, out in the open, very easy to find out, right? So it's just a naming convention. You can take a look, right? So now in what we call in general parts, so Wu earth counter Ren water ma. So when a element is countering another element, the element is not free to do anything else. This is like engaging in battle. When you are fighting the tiger, you got time to worry about anything around it. No, don't have. So that's why you are trapped, right? The Jia Green Dragon is basically trapped together with the what we call the Ren water. That's basically is telling you on it. So which means that the particular person is in a stalemate situation. So how to break the stalemate is through direct action to let people see. That's all I need. Right, so pretty simple. Right, so now back to this one. Right, so back to this particular situation. Right, so like what we say that a lot of time, right, when we talk about Chief, people thinking is now go forward. Chief means sure win. No, right? So sometimes walking away from the game is the way to do so, especially when the Chief is in delusion. So the chief in delusion, basically, the chief is in a position whereby there are certain things that the chief may not know. There are certain things that is being hidden from the chief. And this delusion door is together with grain. Now, grain means a lot. Harmony means add on to it, right? So no. So grain means a lot, right? So when there's a lot of thing in delusion door, which means that the chief actually got no clear vision. Right? So when you have no clear vision, you don't know what is basically happening. You know? Instead of further going through this, it's best to just go back. So it's like, you know, going to war, then suddenly the entire place become very foggy, very misty, right? So cannot see anything. You know, should you still move forward with your army? Go home, wait until the fog clear up. Right? So, you know, yeah, you know, so this is like, you know, trying to charge into a situation whereby you don't know what is basically happened. Right, so you know, if you take a look at it, right, so the hexagram is a rising hexagram. So rising hexagram, a lot of times, you know, not depend what is rising. Right, so no, hello Joseph, how are you doing? Great that you come from Florida. So how's the condition in US? Hopefully it's fine. Right, so you know, the news hasn't been very great for the US side, you know, at least from our perspective. Also, you are at the site, then probably you can, you know, tell us what's the situation. Is this as bad as, you know, how the world is showing, right? So back to this one now. Now rising depend on what is rising. So you can see that right now, just now is delusion together with the grain star. So a lot of things you don't know. Rising mean that even more thing that you don't know. The situation become more and more. Now without wrongdoing is a situation we know whereby your action is not your fault. So that's why I say that this particular formation is good for you to retreat. Right, so it's good for you to basically to do retreat. Any positive things for you to do with this formation? Actually, no. Right, so if this is your destiny palace, so your general feeling right now is an overwhelming feeling of in the blur. Right, is don't know what is basically happened. So it's very engulfing, very heavy on the shoulder. Right, so it's okay to basically not do anything. Let the situation unfold. So again, I just remember this is just 1 month kind of energy. Right, so you know, as what you need to do is that, you know, like for example, if you feel like, you know, okay, so I am actually ready to face the information, right? So I'm ready, or you know, at least I am adventurous enough to face the information. Maybe you want to borrow the southeast energy, right? So southeast energy is allow you to basically find out about the grand problem, right? So, and I want to make a decision about it. You know, I don't want to be a ostrich and bury my head into the sand and wait for the time whereby, you know, I just pass by. You know, I want to take some positive action. So which means that I want to use this as a learning experience for me as a leader, right? So I want to do this as a leadership learning experience. So I take my heat, I go to the southeast side, and then, you know, I manifest for clarity to see the actual problem. Right, so you find out what problem, right? So now again, it doesn't guarantee you'll be able to handle it. Leadership is not something that fling happen, right? So sometimes you need to fail a lot of time just to gain some leadership for yourself. Right, so come, let's take a look at the north. So north have the snake and harm. Right, so snake and harm. Right, so snake and harm. Now harm door in the olden days, the door of attack. So, you know, the door of attack is the door that, you know, you start to master your army and start attacking the other side. Okay, right? So of course, you know, right now we hardly do anything in terms of attacking people. So a lot of time now in the modern era, when we talk about harm door, then, you know, we talk a lot about sales activity already, because sales activity very closely mimic a army attack in the olden day. Right, so no, so right now I talk a lot about sales activity. This is still called attack, right? So sales activity. So now sales together with hero, then, you know, this is a very good combination when it comes to sales, right? So, you know, and together with snake. Right. Now again, snake is just things that is very dodgy, unconfirmed, right? So whereas the tortoise is outright fake, different. Tortoise is outright fake, imaginary, right? So whereas snake is sometimes is real, right? So half real, half not real, right? So with this sort of combination together, is actually very good for sale. Right? Very, very good for sale, you know, very, very good for, especially if you are selling something that is intangible, right? Intangible stuff, because snake together with heroes, you are able to send a very high value to people, right? So very intangible type of value, right? So if you're selling things that is very intangible, right? So you know, it's a lot of time, what we call waiting for the correct timing to basically do things, right? So if you take a look at it, right, so the hexagram is a biting hexagram. Now biting hexagram is basically very simple. Got thing cannot tell, that's it. Biting hexagram is just got thing cannot tell, right? So it's really like biting. It's like the mouth's got a stick on bottom, so you're biting on something. Then on the other side is basically opposition, right? So which means that the situation would turn. The situation would basically turn, right? So like, you know that this particular thing that you're selling basically is not really that good, but the other party has talked themselves into buying the thing. Okay, yeah, all right. So you know, should you tell the other party? Right? Should you tell the other party? Right? The other party has already talked themselves into buying the thing, right? So it just mean that they have the impression that this is a good product, you know? But you know this product. By the way, every single product also got problem. So that's why if you're a salesperson, actually you cannot be too honest. There's nothing that you are selling is 100% good. Right, so like for example, you know, you go and sell a property to somebody, you know, somebody come in, you know, say that, oh yo, I heard this particular place you know, gonna have LRT, you know, gonna have this and that, it's gonna be very popular, I know, so is it true? Right, so you wanna tell him no, man? Oh no lah, you know, yes, it's gonna be LRT, but the LRT, right, is like 15-minute walk over to that side, you know, there's no cover, you have to cross a, you know, a highway somewhere. So now a lot of time it's like that. I know when they sell the property, right, they tell you LRT is 5 minutes. 5 minutes is straight line walking. Right. So I've seen some places they say that the LRT is like 5 minutes. Really, yeah. But there is a township in between the condo and also the LRT, and you cannot just move through the township, you know. Yeah, you have to move one circle across the township. That take you half hour. So how did the fella lie or did the fella didn't lie? I don't know, right? So it's those type of situation, but it's a palace whereby you can create good okay, let's not use the word good. You can create impression, right? You can create impression. So of course, you know, you're going to use it for good purpose or bad purpose, up to you, right? So now again, the most dangerous thing about using this sort of impression selling is the other party will find out about it, right? So no, I think you've seen enough TikTok or those social media sales video. When the video show you that time, wow, this one how good you can do whatever. But when you buy back that time, you cannot do half the thing that they say you would do. Video show you very nice. Right, so you are convinced by the video, you know, as in, oh, this one can do this, can do that. A lot of product basically does that. Right, so they're very unfortunate, right? So hopefully that company don't come and kill me, you know. Temu or Temu, right? So their photo and their video is like the best. But when you buy it back, then you find out that cannot use. Right, so why is there 2 hexagram there? Why is there 2 hexagram there? In studying hexagram, there is always a transformation. You don't study hexagram using 1 hexagram. Okay, right? So one for the stem formation, and no, it's the stem formation plus the transform hexagram. Okay, yeah, expectation versus reality, right? Expectation versus reality, right? So, but of course, you know, if your job is to sell something and the other person has a certain expectation, you just have to go there, say yes, sell it first. Right, so now again, the danger is, you know, the thing that you're selling, if it's too far away from the truth, then, you know, it will come back and bite you, right? So careful a bit, right? So if your sales, highly encourage you to use this palace energy from this palace, right? Especially if you are trying to meet your annual target, right? So this could be the ultimate palace for you to meet your entire annual target. So make sure not too far away. And so again, you don't need to be 100% too honest. The formation is good, the Ping and Ting formation, right? So the Star Noble Phoenix formation is pretty good. It's a very good formation. You do a lot of things, right? So Northwest, the last palace, right? So Northwest, this one, it's everything is red color, great. No, and then another one more that is overly advertised, the live door, right? So live door has been overly advertised as profit, make money. Yeah. Right, so now as you can see, the formation for the stem is enter prison, self-punishment, right? Own self, shoot own self, put, right? All right, so a lot of time, opportunity, right? So make money, right? So you need to what we call when we plot hexagram, the hexagram get is the answer. The transforming hexagram show the direction of the future. Depend on what you are asking first, right? So again, GGD is not a hexagram class, right? So the initial hexagram usually show your current state, right? So the transform hexagram show the future direction. Okay, right? So there is also a transform hexagram in between. Okay, right? So we show the storyline or the pathway. So there's usually 3 hexagrams, right? So normal circumstances. Okay, right? So again, this is not a hexagram class, so we'll not go through that. So like right now, fast tell you hexagram, gradual progress to observation, don't move so fast. Simple, right? So don't move so fast, right? So now this one is the entire idea of why a lot of people get into trouble when they are given a lot of money. Have you ever thought that? Right, so you really right? So you see inside the news, right? So like for example, again, extreme example, don't get too angry, don't get too sad. You see certain things like husband die, insurance payout, few $1 million, give to the wife. Then what happened? Scoundrels get cheated, get scammed, within, let's say not even half a year, right? So retiree, lost $500,000, to scammer. Once they access their EPF, right, suddenly, going to retirement age, 55 years old, it's still 55 years old, I don't know, I forget. I don't 55, 60 years old right now. Then, EPF, let them withdraw all the money, all gone. Cheated by family member cheated by their children right? So you've heard before, right? So people like took all the money, then give to the eldest son, then the youngest son that's been taking care of the mother just kick the mother out of the house, right? So since you love your eldest son so much, ask your eldest son to save you, right? So this is the rough situation. A lot of people cannot handle that money, right? So because the moon and the system basically tells you that there seems to be a lot of things for you to learn about money, right? So now, if you want to learn about money, this is a good palace. I tell you first, if you want to learn about money, right? This is a perfect palace for you to learn about money. Because why? What are you learning? You are trying to learn your own self. So you can see that the enter prison self-punishment is basically to learn your own, learn to control your own desire, right? So like the other day we talked about sin metal. Sin metal a lot of time is self-generating problem. It's very selfish one, my sin metal. G-Earth is personal desire. G-Earth is personal desire. Very difficult to what we call fulfill. Right? So when these two come together, is a personal desire issue that you currently see. So like got money, then go and buy this, go and buy that, go and buy that, don't know how to stop, right? So and buy all those things that is not cash generating. Also one of the reason why some people win money, right? They go and buy stuff that doesn't generate money, but they buy stuff that drain money. So what happens is that they don't have enough money to sustain. So a lot of people, like again they go and buy a property, right? So like in the property world, at least it was once very popular, right? So the people, when they go and buy property, they buy 3-4 property together and they borrow loan together, right? They submit their loan to multiple different banks. Right, so when they submit to multiple different banks, same address, the bank doesn't know what is what. So the bank assumption is that, he's applying for 2 banks to see which bank give better rate. So when both of the bank approve the loan, they actually take loan from both banks. I've seen people take like 15 loans at the same time. Right, so yeah. So what happened when the unit is not rented out? Who's gonna pay for the unit, right? So that's where an entire thing collapsed, right? So you see, self-desire, very greedy, right? Very greedy, doesn't know how to control. You are given money. Worst case scenario, right? So that's why I say that a lot of time, please don't just look at one component and conclude that, this is gonna be great, right? So now I got live door. No, so I'm going to make a lot of money, right? So this one is basically tells you seems like you don't have a mechanism of self-control. Okay, right? So too much information coming to you also is not good, right? So you don't have the mental capacity to process the situation. It's basically telling you that you need to slow everything down. So but again, if you want to learn about money, you might be in a situation whereby you'll be losing some money, as in what we call tuition fees. Right, by the way, this one is very easy for you to feel. You can go and try forex trading. Forex trading very easy to feel this, right? So you go into for forex trading now, it's like early beginner luck. You pick a few forex and then you actually make money. You actually make money, and you actually make quite a lot of money, right? It's because your what we call your account is small. Okay, your account is small, right? So sometimes you might even be able to, within 1 week, you double the account. Your account is just like 1,000 baht only, I'm telling you, right? So it's starting account. Wow, it's like, I'll be able, 1 week, I'll be able to double the account. Very happy, got a lot of money, right? So you've seen a lot of people, basically tells you that, it's like, I'm doing this, 1 week I'm able to make like 1,000 ringgit or 1,000 US dollar, right? So here's the thing, when the thing dropped that time, I don't know whether you can survive or not. Okay, right? So this is your Qimen for this particular month, right? So depending on how you want to set yourself up, see where you want to go and do, right? So then you choose a palace for you to use, right? So it's predominantly used for reprogramming yourself, right? So just salient point, this month is what we call a Fu Yin month, right? So Fu Yin, Fan Yin month, right? So Fan Yin stamp, Fan Yin 9 star, right? So Fan Yin stamp means that the stamp is of the opposite position. So you can see that every single palace, the opposite position is the exact reverse of the stamp. Right, so when you have a Fan Yin situation, means a lot of things happen very fast and it's very unstable. Right, very fast and unstable. So when everything is happening very fast, very unstable, your way of handling this is to slow everything down. Right, is to slow everything down, which means that please don't go and make decisions. So Chinese says 三思而後行, ding 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 before moving. Some see mean think and think before moving, right? So no point of you rushing, right? No point of you rushing, right? So if you remember last month, this month chart is a Fu Yin chart. Fu Yin chart means nothing move. So it's a situation whereby nothing move, then suddenly everything moves. So it's like those drag car racing, right? So the car is suddenly whoa, and then boom, and then it's not easy to do. Right, so not easy to do, right? So yeah, it's uncertainty, like it can go any direction. So again, slow down, right? Just slow everything down. Slow everything down, collect enough information, right? Slow everything down means that probably you take the first 3 weeks to breathe in. Then on the last of the weeks, and last of the week, on the 4th week, then you do a deterministic, as in where you want to go, right? So anyway, you do have to do some execution. So, or if you're more gung-ho, is make your decision at the beginning of the month, then spend the next 3 months, spend the next 3 weeks fixing your decision. Either way work, right? Either way work, right? So, but just don't get too rushed with information. Don't go ding dong, that's all. Right, so no, that's basically what you are expected to do. All right, so guys, that's it for this particular, right? So yeah, haste makes waste, right? So no, that's it for this particular month, right? So no, then later when the feng shui is published, then we go and look at the feng shui. Then later when the parts one is published, the 10-day master published, then we talk about it. All right, so that's it, guys. See you all. Bye.